We are back on the couch.
We are back! We are back!
To be specific, my couch.
To be specific, for 4 days, and then we are off. But we are home for a couple days after we just finished up in the Hamptons.
The Hamptons, which is why I am repping my lovely Montauk lobster tail mug. It's adorable.
It is so cute. I got the blue one that has a whale on it. Because I didn't know there were so many whales up there, but there was whales on everything.
Our beans this week are from City Roots. That was my coffee. City Roots actually is one of my favorite probably coffee places in Baton Rouge. Obviously, we got to talk about caffeine because this is pristine caffeine with Terrine and Christine, or with Christine and Terrine. I don't know.
Nice.
However you prefer. But we are rolling. We are back on the couch talking about. We haven't really touched, or since the last, we haven't talked about AVP League because it hadn't started.
So let's start at the beginning. We started in San Diego. So we landed from, oh my gosh, how long ago does this feel? We landed from Ostrava, the Czech Republic, and then a couple days later we flew to San Diego. It took us like 8 hours to get to San Diego. I felt like it took forever to get there. And then instead of usually we did like clinics and a bunch of things and like a ton of media, but then this year we were like, oh my gosh, that was just exhausting. And then by the time you got to the game, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even stand up. So this year we just we adventured around San Diego. We saw the sea lions and the seals.
In La Jolla?
Kristen,
Y'all.
she was walking around like this.
Y'all.
It was like a 2-year-old.
Okay,
She's
for
like,
those
it stinks.
Yeah, for those who are not watching and just listening, it smelled terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it smelled like a zoo or like an aquarium where there's a ton of animals. Yeah.
But it's just like you couldn't escape it, and I was unwell. I was like, we got to get out of here. I could not handle the smell. It was like, there was literally so I say you couldn't escape it, but there was like a clear as soon as you like got out of this one invisible line. It was like, then the smell was gone. And our car was like parked kind of like right by the border. And as we were driving out, you literally could see people all of a sudden walk right into the wall and they would hit it. And then every single person was like, oh my God. Oh, you could just see them making faces and stuff. But it was bad.
But I loved watching them. They were so cute and they were so blubbery.
Watching them try and walk.
Waddle.
It looked painful. Like we saw a massive one try and walk.
Literally 3 times the size of any other one.
And just the way they walk, it literally looks like it hurts them.
He was just a little chunky. He was cute though.
But I did like the La Jolla area was really cool. I really liked, what area?
Little Italy?
No. Where we went to the hotel. Coronado.
Oh, yeah.
Coronado. I don't know. Coronado.
Hotel del Coronado.
That was a cool, again, a little like cute little area. It reminded me though of kind of like Montauk area.
Yeah, where you can just like walk to everything, small town vibes, not a ton of traffic. Yeah. That is what I like to see. And then there was just like a ton of restaurants, but nothing was chain. Like everything was
like family owned.
Small town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Very, very cute.
But that did remind me of Montauk, which segue into Hamptons AVP League stop. Actually, first, I just noticed we are wearing new. I have a little string on mine. Eep. New TCAN merch stuff, which you'll be able to get soon. We made up a word. Hangle. Highline, Hangle.
Technically, it was inspired by somebody else. So, thank you for reaching out to us about that.
Give it to me. What does it say?
Life can change quickly. Oh,
Come
but
on.
It's possible to adjust accordingly.
Yeah. It'll also, in the shirts that come out, it'll be a little smaller. But no, this new merch store, dropping end of the month. Don't have the exact date. It may be before the end of the month. It may be July 1st. I don't know. We'll see.
Around
Keep you guessing.
that time.
But we've been saying new stuff is coming, but we promise it's actually coming. We've just been creating a whole new website, new designs.
The other thing is that we got it. We felt the material. We washed the material to just kind of give better feedback of how it fits, how you should wash it, how you should order sizing and stuff. So yeah, we now have even more TKN merch.
Yeah. Also, it all is new. There's a new store, so I'm sure there's going to be some issues that come up right away. We apologize. We will try we will try and do our best to resolve all of them, but we're super excited. We hope you are too. Anyway, that was I feel like a commercial for our own merch store. But
back to Montauk. Hamptons.
Okay. I wrote about it on the blog. We obviously saw that I traveled with my parents. But this trip...
But I was there too, but it's fine.
Taryn was there. She happened to be there. Crazy travel.
So we started off, Kristen and I were early leaving Baton Rouge. We were flying out of New Orleans, so we swung by the Nuss household, picked up the parents. Before we left, we were in the kitchen. I was like, do you both have everything? Like they always say to us whenever they drop us off at the New Orleans airport. They both said yes. We get in the car, and we are about, 7 minutes down the road?
7 to 10 minutes in.
And your dad just goes, oh, no, I don't have my phone. We got to turn around. So I was like, okay, no problem. We left kind of early. Turn around, go back, grab his phone. We're all laughing about it. And then Audrey jinxed us because she said, we're traveling with them.
I think she said that even before my dad did. I think it was 5 minutes into the ride. She was like, because I was like, oh, are we going to arrive? Are we actually going to take off on time? And my mom was
said,
like, you're with us, so it's going to be fine. It only happens when it's just the two of you guys. Right there, should have known. I think even then I was like, take it back. I was like, no, don't say that. But she for sure jinxed us.
So then we get to the airport. We were planning on just parking the car because it was only going to be 2 days. And then doing short-term parking, walking straight in, and just getting to the airport, on time for our flight to leave on time. Go to short-term parking, absolutely full. Go to long-term parking, absolutely full.
Yeah, it's never a good thing when you pull up and you see a cone's blocking the entrance, and then it says temporarily full.
And then we went to economy, which is the other. You have to drive to the old airport, park. The first 1 through 4 floors were
we're
filled.
We get there, we're like, great, no cones, everything. All right, there's gonna be a spot here. We're going up the spiral ramp. Those spiral ramps, they're just one.
I was just trying to focus. I was like, oh my gosh.
So we're going around. It's like first floor, there's a cone. Second floor, cone. Go get to finally the 5th floor. We get there, we're like, no cone, perfect. There's got to be a spot. We go, no spot on this floor. Then we go again. We're like, all right, let's go to 6th floor. 6th floor, no cone. Drive around. There was not a single spot. It was after
the 7th floor is the top floor.
After the 6th, when we were on the 6th floor and there was no spots, there had to be a little panic because I was a little panic of like, are we gonna be able to get on this flight? I was
I was not panicked.
At 6th floor for me, I was like, we may not make it on this plane. Anyway.
So then there was six-ish parking spots. We snagged one of those on the top 7th floor. We tried to get in the elevator. Push the button. We're all just standing there. There was another girl whose flight was delayed for 24 hours. We're like, we get you. We feel that. I'm so sorry. The elevator is not moving, at all.
I'm glad you said something. We were all just sitting there, and Taryn's like, we haven't moved, right? No, we certainly have not moved.
So then we try to get out of the elevator, and it wouldn't go.
Well, there's no button. There was no button. You know how you have typically the door closed, door open button? Yeah. Those buttons didn't exist on this elevator.
So then we were like, oh my gosh. That's when I did panic. I was like, we're going to be stuck in this freaking elevator.
Yeah, okay, good. Because I was like, oh my goodness, are we stuck on this elevator?
So as soon as it opens, Kristen sprints out, and then Audrey sprinted out.
I wrote about that in the blog. On the blog, I was like, yeah, every man for themselves. I got out of there as fast as possible.
You really are every man for themselves. So I get out, and then the door starts to shut, and both George and the other girl that was in the elevator with us both tried to stop it, but the doors wouldn't stop. You know, if you tap it, it'll go back. It wouldn't. So they were prying it open. So I grabbed one side, get George out. He grabs the other side, gets the other girl out. Meanwhile, Kristen's on floor 3.
Me and my mom were like, dude,
walking
down
the stairs. Didn't even look back for us, but whatever. George and I made it. We made it down the stairs, carrying our suitcases.
But also keep in mind, we are in Louisiana in a staircase. It was so hot.
It was 1,000,000 degrees.
And all of us just carrying our suitcases, walking down the stairs.
Luckily, we didn't have like a bunch of checked bags, and it was like just a carry-on, just a backpack. So we get down to the bottom, we get on the shuttle, and the shuttle guy, he just wouldn't leave.
Well, one, he was in the bathroom. We were like, where's the driver?
And then he was like, I can't leave because somebody else wasn't there or something. Or the other bus wasn't there.
There wasn't a ton of buses.
I don't know what was going on. Anyway, we finally make it there. Go through security. Kristen is about to pee her pants.
No, wait, we didn't. We're on the shuttle going over. Wait, we didn't even talk about my mom in the car ride finds out that her flight is out of JFK.
Oh,
I mean, out of LGA. Mm-hmm. So backtrack. On our way to the airport, my mom realizes that she is not actually on the same flight as us on the way back. We had gotten a hotel room right by the airport, JFK, because we were flying out early Monday morning. My mom finds out that her flight is at LGA, and it's not until 3:30 on Monday. Had to get on the phone with Delta, so that all happened. Forgot to mention that. Throw that in there.
But anyway, she got back on that flight, JFK, the same flight time that we were booked for.
Yeah.
And then, wait, where was I? Oh my gosh, we get through security. Kristen goes. She had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, just leave me because my bag got pulled. And the security people, they were like, oh, do you have a curling iron? I was like, yes, I have a curling iron, for like the walkout outfit. And they're like, okay. I was like, can I not have a curling iron? And they're like, oh, no, you're going to be good. So she goes through my entire bag. And then she was like, oh, you have a curling iron in here. And I was like, yes, that is what. And they were like, well, your bag was just really full and it was too close to something else. And I was like, I swear at this point, they are just making things up. And I was like, are you serious? And they were like, here you go. You're good to go. All my stuff is just scattered everywhere. My white dress, she just like left it hanging over my dirty airport wheels. I know
you had to just be like,
I was like, don't say anything. Don't say anything. I didn't say anything, but I was just like, thank you, ma'am. And I left, and I just tried to get to the airport or to the boarding, and it was zone 2, and I arrived at the gate. So it was quite eventful.
Yeah. Wait, and in the shuttle, my mom was like, wait, you're playing outside? My parents packed for an indoor event.
Which is fair because a lot of the league events are indoor events.
Yeah, that is.
But when you got there, it was a touch warmer than it would have been in an indoor.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely warm. But we made it on our flight. We got there. We actually arrived to JFK 30 minutes early, which I thought the pilot was funny. He was like, so, good news, we have arrived to JFK 30 minutes early. Bad news, we have arrived to JFK 30 minutes early. So there was someone in our gate. The gate crew wasn't there. But we pulled into our gate 1 minute before we were supposed to. So technically we arrived early, but that did kind of suck just waiting there. But our whole plan, we were going to get there, get the rental car. We were going to go meet our friend, take the ferry over to Fire Island. And we were like, okay, we'll maybe be able to make that because that was like 3 hours from when we had landed. Taryn for sure was like, we're not making it. But I was optimistic. That optimism definitely changed quickly parents and Taryn, they stopped to get some food. I was like, all right, I'm just immediately going to go get in line at the rental car place. I walked into the budget place. Complete chaos. The line was so long. I immediately texted Taryn. I was like, we are going to be here a while. So I'm standing in line. Also, the service in the budget place was terrible. So, like, texts weren't going through. I, couldn't call them or anything. And we were just waiting there forever.
3 hours, right?
We waited there for 3 hours. Our car was supposed to be ready at 4. We rolled out at 6:30.
Okay, so through Costco, we did the budget, whatever. I don't know. Kristen booked the car. Thank you for doing that. And while she was doing that, I ran over to Hertz. They were completely out of cars. And then I ran over to Enterprise. No car. Actually, they had a car. But you were like, oh, we're already at the front of the line for budget because it took so long to get from Hertz to there. Then I checked Alamo. Your mom checked Thrifty. So we checked all of these places.
And it was like, we probably should have taken the Thrifty. The Thrifty, it would have been $100 more than what we paid, and they would have given it to us right now. But we were literally second in line at the counter next to Budgets. We were like, all right, we're about to be next. Little did we know that at Budget, once you get to the front and check in, you then have to wait an additional 15 to 30 minutes for them to go get the car to then bring it to you. We were like, if we would have known that, we definitely should have went the thrifty route. But oh my gosh.
So they finally call us. Kristen is like level 10 angry, which doesn't happen very much.
I've literally been standing there for two hours at that point.
I know. So at that point, I just know not to talk to you. Because when you travel together so much, you know, like one person is going to be stressed out. The other person has to stay calm, because if you both stress out, then it's just not good. I feel like we do a really good job of, if one person's freaking out, the other one really stays strong.
Yeah, for sure.
And we try to have a little bit of optimism. Anyway, we get out there, and there is a group of, 10 of us?
Well, first, the woman starts calling out, and she's like, lists his name, and she gets to the point where she was like, do you want the car clean, or do you want it as is? Every single person is like, as is, just give me the car.
Give me the car dirty.
Get me the hell out of here. And it is kind of funny, though, when you're in those situations, how much you just start, like, bonding with the people around you, of just, like, in disbelief.
Misery loves company.
Yeah, that could not have been more true. So, yeah, every single person was like, we'll take the car. And we just follow this woman into this budget lot. All of us wheeling our suitcases in the uneven surface, so you could hear the herd of us coming from like miles away, because we're like everywhere, just following this woman into this very much unorganized parking lot.
Oh my gosh.
So
she tried to give away one car, and we were like, there's people in it.
That was hilarious. The guy, when she was like, all right, this Volvo, and this guy was like, ma'am, there's a person in the car. She was like, what are you talking about? She's like, oh, wait, that's not our car. That's not our car.
She flips to the next page, and then she's yelling out names. She's like, is there a Jessica?
But at this point,
Jessica.
when the guy was like, there's someone in the car, and she was like, oh, yeah, wait, that's not our car. He literally, the fact that he was like, where are the cameras? Like, we are being filmed right now. Where are the hidden cameras? That could not have been more true.
Yeah.
But yeah, she kept being like, Jessica, is there a Jessica?
I think at one point I said, there's no Jessica here. Anyway, we finally find our car, because your mom was like,
I was like,
what car is it?
Yeah.
We will go search the parking lot. So we couldn't see it at first, because they actually started cleaning it. So they put the trunk up so you couldn't see the license plate. But I think you and your mom found the car, and we're like, it's over here. We all throw our stuff in immediately. Your parents are like investigating every single speck on the car. We're like, just get in.
Just get in the car. Let's get the heck. Because we had an hour drive to dinner. So it was like,
it was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, we need to get on this road. Like, yeah. So.
But we finally got to dinner. The traffic was like pretty bad, but it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
It definitely went down an hour, because we spent so much time at budget. But then when we got to, it was a little marina area. There was live music.
Yeah, shout out Jasmine. Good spot. It was right on the water.
It was so I was completely content and happy, and just hanging out with everybody, and then just sharing our crazy travel stories. But then Kristen was like, we need to get on the road, because we were still an hour and a half away from our hotel that AVP booked us in the Hamptons.
Yeah. So this is probably around it was like 8:30. Keep in mind, we had gotten up at like 6 something our time. So we really are. We're struggling. We're tired.
Yeah.
And we were in a rental car. Before we left, we were like, all right, let's make sure like the lights, they didn't have automatic lights or anything. So we were like, all right, Jasmine, make sure like there's headlights on. And even when we were driving away, there was headlights on. So we're about 30 minutes out from our hotel. And all of a sudden, there's red and blue lights.
No, the flash of the other person.
Okay, about 30 seconds before I saw a cop car, there was a car coming at us, because it was a two-way highway, but one road. Whatever.
One lane back and forth. Yeah.
Whatever. Flashes its lights at me, like, okay, I guess that means there's a cop coming up. That does happen. People will flash their lights just to warn you that there's a cop coming.
We were both like, oh my gosh, that was so
like,
nice.
Oh, wow, yeah, look, there's a cop right there. As soon as we get past the cop, all of a sudden I see the cop in the rear view pull around, and I was like, okay, I wasn't speeding. And all of a sudden, literally, flips its lights on. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This cop is coming for us. I was like, Taryn, I don't know what we're being pulled over for. I wasn't speeding. Like, I don't know what's happening. And we're sitting on the side of the road. Also, the guy the guy's lights are so bright. So both Tara and I are like in the
Chris
car.
is like, grab my wallet. And I looked back to grab her wallet. I couldn't even open my eyes. It was so close. It was so
I was
bright.
like, I can't see anything. Then finally he comes around to Taryn's side and he's like, got his light. And I'm
Flashes
like waiting,
me directly in the
yeah,
eyeballs.
I'm like waiting to see like what where he got pulled over. He was like, maybe your lights aren't on. I was like, what? I swear we have headlights. There are lights on.
I go, this is a rental car.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, it's just your running board lights?
Your running lights.
Running lights. Like,
who knows what a running light is?
Yeah, Taryn was like,
you didn't know what it was
I had no idea what it was. I was like, I'm so sorry. I had no idea.
But we flipped him on. 7 minutes later, we were out of there. He was really
he
nice.
luckily didn't give us a ticket or anything. He let us go. But we made our way. We finished it honestly got my heart rate up that it made the 30-minute drive. Like, we were just cracking up. And
because the whole day was just like a joke,
it was like,
honestly.
Of course we get pulled over. So then we park. We finally make it to the Ocean Vista Resort. We park. We got an email the day prior that they close after 6 p.m. So keys in an envelope would be waiting for us with our names in the little mailbox there. So we park, we get out, there's the mailbox, we open the mailbox, there's an envelope, but it does not have our names on it. Like, what do we do? So we call the AVP people. They're like, oh my goodness, this happened to one other person. Like, let's see what we can do.
I found a grounds crew guy that came, but he was just, there for the nighttime shift. So he wasn't available to like give us a key or let us in or anything. And he gets on the phone with his manager, and this manager was so unbelievably rude and had no care in the world that we did not have a key in the mailbox. And she was like, oh yeah, just go check the mailbox. And I was like, yes, ma'am, I did, but that's why I'm calling you, because our name is not in there. And she's like, well, then you don't have a room. And I was like, but we're here with the AVP. And she was like, well, you're going to have to call some other organization because there is no room here for you. And she's like, I guess I can come in like 11 minutes, but there's nothing I can do for you. And I was like, well, then don't come. It's midnight. Yeah. Don't come if there's nothing you can do. Not very nice. Not very nice.
Fortunately for us, the AVP owner just so happened to have a rental property that was about a 12-minute drive a little further down the island it was in Montauk. And they were like, all right, AVP, there's actually someone already there. Like, they're waiting for you. But it was definitely like a rental property that like hadn't been lived in a little bit. But thankfully, again, there was a room. It was like this giant room with 2 queen beds, like 2 bathrooms. So we get there. It's 11:30. We're just like, oh
no,
my gosh,
it is
we just
midnight.
Want to sleep. Oh, it is. I guess
we got to the other
midnight.
hotel at 11:30.
Okay. It was about midnight. The room, though, it was so hot because, again, there was like no AC on. They had kicked it on only like an hour earlier. So it was so hot, but we were just like a bed. We're tired. Like, okay, perfect. Like, we made it. What a freaking travel day. Well, we made it. Then we're like working on getting the blinds closed. We wake up the next morning. It is so bright. It's like 6 a.m.
We were in the middle of the sun, basically.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh. Talk about so bright. But then Taryn, I don't know if you got up like before me. I just remember waking up and you were like, Kristen, you need to look outside.
Oh yeah, I got up because I couldn't sleep. That thing, like I said, we were basically in the middle of the sun. It was so bright.
Yeah.
And I love the water. So I got up, I looked outside, and right there, we were right on the water.
Yeah,
it was,
little did we know we were straight up on a beach house front property.
In Montauk. What? So anyway, everything from the day before I forgot as I was just staring out into the ocean, and there was a beautiful pool, and both of us woke up and we were like, oh, okay, we're going to go grab breakfast, but first we're going to go take a little walk on the beach. Yeah. And then went into Montauk, and we were right downtown so that we could just walk to everything, which was really nice.
I do have
just so
that
beautiful.
Restaurant, Bird on the Roof. Ooh, I want to go back and get that burrata avocado toast thing. That was so
We
good.
stopped there. We got Left Hand Coffee. We went to, what was it, the most expensive grocery store?
Yeah.
To just,
It did look really cute.
take a peek. Yeah.
All the fruit looked very tasty.
It did.
We did get some chocolate chip cookies.
I did want to eat absolutely every single raspberry, blueberry, strawberry. All of the produce looked so good. Anyway, it was awesome. Yeah. Everything, you can almost forget everything that happened before.
Well, we got our little Left Hand Coffee, and
We were walking around.
We went and sat. Well, no, we got left-hand coffee and then went back to the house because we were like, we're going to go sit and just look at the view. So that was really nice. Luckily, you were like, all right, yeah, I'm just going to get ready early because we were supposed to have a clinic.
With my curling iron that was supposed to be taken away from me, apparently, in security.
We were supposed to have a clinic Sunday before we played. And Josh texted, we like both got a text on Saturday and was like, hey, do you guys need anything for the clinic? I was like, Taryn, you see Josh's text? I was like, no, we're all good, but isn't it tomorrow? It's like, no, it's actually today. And so where we were 30 minutes out from the venue. So we were like, oh my goodness, we're like quickly like grabbing all our stuff. We were like a couple minutes late, but it was just so like, oh my goodness, this whole trip has just been like,
we were just like, add it to the list.
Like, what's next?
So we didn't actually mess up that time. There was a mix up. So nope, they were not upset with us, and we went as fast as we could. We got there, we did our walk-in really quick. We changed all of our stuff immediately. It was good to like get us moving and stuff, but it was pretty rough. And then we get to the venue, and you could just see on TV. It was absolutely
everyone, I feel like,
beautiful.
was like, oh, that venue looked really nice.
It was really nice. We were right on the marina, and there were so many beautiful boats, and it was pretty full. I think it was sold out.
The only thing I feel like to me, I feel like as like a player and just like you want like energy, it was like a little more like golf setting of like, oh,
yeah,
claps instead of like, whoa, like we're getting after it.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on what you're looking for.
I liked the boats in the water.
I mean, yeah, definitely sick view. It was also very windy, which was different.
Yeah.
Unique to the previous AVP
And playing outside,
weekends.
it was really warm. It was nice. And everybody else had been saying that it was windy and cold and rainy and gross. And the weekend we come, it was really nice. So that
we
was
most
really
definitely probably should have lost that first match, but
certainly we were.
Somehow we didn't.
What did you say? We shot ourselves in both feet.
Yep.
And both arms or something. And we really did.
We shot ourselves in both feet and the left shoulder.
It was not ideal, but you know.
Yeah. Somehow we won.
Yeah. But then Sunday was pretty uneventful.
Yeah, Sunday was chill. Like
until
we decided to travel back home.
And we're getting back home. It's just taking a lot longer. There's bad traffic. People are all leaving the Hamptons, going back to the city. We missed our first exit. Kristen
the maps were so terrible.
Yeah,
and
they
like
were.
Describing
It was not your
which
fault.
road. There's like 3 different lines, and it was That was
so
annoying.
we were trying to get back, and Kristen was like, "Okay."
Oh wait, I did have a lobster roll. We went to dinner first, and then we headed back. And I was like, I cannot leave this island without getting a lobster roll, and it was good. It was tasty.
I did have a bite of it. It was good. We're going back, and you're like, okay, 2 people are going to go drop off the rental car. The other 2 people check into the hotel and figure out when the shuttle is and get in the shower so the other 2 can just have it.
So
right
we're all
when we
doing
come
this
back.
because, again, it's like 10:30. We're supposed to wake up at like 5:45 because our flight's at 8:10. So I'm like, all right, we gotta do this efficiently. Like, let's make it happen quick. So me and my dad, we dropped Taryn and my mom off at the hotel right by the airport. My dad and I go to drop off the rental car. So we go to budget the car rental. We're like we're like finding to turn in, and all of a sudden there's like a giant van and a cone blocking the car rental place. We're like,
seems to be a theme.
Yeah. Like, where are we supposed to go? So my dad jumps out. Luckily there was like a little like security guy or a worker, I don't know, at the little stand right there. So he opts out. I go make a circle. My dad gets back in the car and is like, his English was like, I don't know. I couldn't really understand. He was saying like, Ibis, Abyss. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? What?
You're like, we need budget. We need it now.
Yeah. He was like, he just said to like go around the block. I'm like, okay. Like in my head, I'm like, maybe there's an Ibis or whatever hotel. I'm like, I've heard of that name. Like I've heard that name before. So I don't know. I'm like, okay, let's just go around and see what's happening. And the only thing around the block is like Enterprise, Alamo. I'm like, we cannot turn in there. If we turn into this lot, I can't get out because the little car things. Like we're gonna lose a tire. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna try and go back, and this time I'll talk to him and see if I don't know if my dad was just like he couldn't hear him right or something. So I go back, I jump out, and this time I just park the car right in front of the entrance. So I'm kind of like blocking people. But I get out, I'm talking to him, fully understand what my dad was saying because he was like, no, Abyss. I'm like, what? I'm like, is that a car rental? Like, what are you, I'm like trying to get him to like type it into my phone. And then luckily another woman came from somewhere and was like, Avis. And I'm like, oh, and he was like, yes, Avis. I was like, you couldn't have said that earlier like that. So he was like, yeah, after 10 p.m., Avis and Budget are, I'm like, oh, you're, okay, got it. So this guy, I'm like, okay, perfect. And I'm getting like honked at because the line of people, I'm like, I walk over to these people, I'm like, stop honking at me because you got to go to Avis. You can't, it's closed. They're like, oh, okay, sorry. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, you said that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that part of the story.
Because it was literally like a line of cars. They were obviously, yeah. I'm like, you can't get in here, clearly. So we go back around, we pull into Avis.
Hold on, really quick. Kristen calls me, and then George must have found some way around. He's like, "Go, Kristen, go! Like, go around the corner. This just opened up." And she's like, "I gotta go,"
because Avis, there is cars everywhere. Like, it is just pandemonium to the max at this place. Like, they don't know where to put the cars. We're just like roaming around this lot. Finally, we get in line, and so yeah, Taryn heard us because we were waiting in line, but everyone was kind of just out of their cars, like, where do we go? And luckily there was someone was out of their car, so we were able to kind of like cut in front because I like hopped in and it's like skirt, like we're getting this car and getting out of there. So finally we return the car, me and my dad, we get in the Uber, we go back to the hotel.
Pause. Right after they dropped us off, a Lufthansa flight must not have taken off. There is a mass exodus straight from that plane to our hotel. The line was insane, the amount of people that were just like so angry, and I was like, I feel for you so bad, because when you miss one of those flights, it's like you have to wait like a full 24 hours. You get a hotel room, but it's so hard to find a hotel. Anyway, it was just terrible. And then there was a bunch of people in front of me and they were like, sorry, we're full. And I was like, thank goodness we have a reservation. So like 6 people in front of me all disappeared because it was like, no, you cannot get a room. So they went to another hotel. I get to the front. The lady was not very nice because she was just like so stressed out with all those other people. I was like, I have a reservation. All I need is a cart. My name on the Hilton Honors says Tarrant Cloth. She goes, I need an ID. And I hand her Taryn Brasher ID. Oh,
gosh, I didn't know this.
And I was like, it's me, I promise. It's just, I just got married and that's not changed on my Hilton account. And she was like, okay. And I was like, here, I can show you my Hilton account. Luckily, as I'm doing that, you're calling me and it says Kristen Nuss and it pops up. And our room was under Kristen Nuss and Taryn Cloth. And I was like, yes, perfect timing. And she was like, oh, I was like, oh, that's her calling right there. And she was like, okay, I'll give it to you. And she just gave me a key. Oh. I went upstairs, started showering. And then I was like, are you ready to your mom? I was like, are you ready to go? Do you are you checked in? And then she was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, I'll work on that. So we were just like trying to organize the room and just like be out of your guys' way so that you could shower. We could all go to bed right away. And you guys finally come in. You tell us your crazy stories after you Uber back. Your mom goes, oh, that's weird. My flight says check in 8 hours. And I was like,
she was like,
I go, let me see that.
Because I'm like trying to like organize everything. I'm like finally like getting into the hotel. And she was like, I know you're a little like stressed right now, but can you help me check in?
And then I go, give me the phone. And then I go, Kristen.
Yeah. I think you were like, Christy.
I go
something wrong.
They booked the flight for the next day. They were leaving Tuesday at 8 a.m. And I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, you switched the flight. You just paid the extra, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was like I got on her app. I just changed it while
I get on the phone with Delta and I was like, listen, there's this problem. Anyway, we got it figured out. She was like, you should just let us do it, but now you have to get reimbursed. And we were like, we don't care. We just wanted to get her on the plane. And meanwhile, I was looking up other flights. I was like, if you can't get on this one, there's a 9 o'clock, there's a 10 o'clock. You're going to be fine. It's just not going to be the exact flight. We landed. We got there 30 minutes early. And we got our car and we took off. We came back home.
Well, are you going to just slide over the fact that the hotel fire alarm went off at 6 a.m.
Oh, yeah, I slid over that. Oh, my gosh. I seriously.
So weird. 5:45. It all worked out. We switched the flights. 5:45. We get up. My parents were already up, which I don't even know how they were up and like ready. I just remember waking up and they were like already fully dressed.
They're like, okay, we're gonna leave, so you guys can have the room. And I was like, where did you come from?
So I got up right at 5:45 and like had clothes on and everything. At 5:50, all of a sudden the fire alarm starts going off. Taryn's like just woken up. She stayed laying in bed for like 5 more minutes. So fire alarm's like and
I'm in my pajamas. She is fully ready.
I have been taught that when you have the fire alarm, you get the heck out of there.
So Chris is like, we gotta go. I was like, no shit. Of course we have to go, Kristen. But I am not ready. I was like, I need literally 2 minutes. She was like, let's go, let's go.
I'm like grabbing all of
She grabs my
stuff.
stuff. I was like, wait. And she starts walking out with my phone. And I was like, don't leave me in here without my phone.
I was not going to leave you. I was just
that
waiting.
time.
I had the door propped open. I was like seeing if other people were leaving.
Oh my gosh.
Which is also weird because when picking, for Hilton, you could like pick.
That was weird.
You could pick which hotel room you wanted to be in. And I was like, oh, I'm going to pick the second floor in case like the elevator isn't working or something. Like we can just easily walk down the stairs, get out of there. And of course the fire alarm goes out. So as soon as
just one quick flight down the steps with our suitcases. So that makes it 8 flights of stairs with our suitcases.
But
let's go.
It was just talk about, I really think this trip is probably one that us and my parents will probably just bring up stuff all the time. My mom learned a new word. She learned what dense means.
She thought it was hollow.
She thought it was hollow. I told her the cookie was dense, and
she thought the cookie was hollow.
She thought it was hollow, so she went and got 3 instead of 1.
For herself.
Yeah. Was that all of our crazy travel?
Then we get back here and we're going to our amazing trifecta massages, which are the absolute best in Baton Rouge. Like we look forward to it every single time.
Even if you're in New Orleans and you're like an athlete or something, they really are.
Oh my gosh.
It's just very sports specific, which is nice.
That is.
Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about thinking the guy was dead on the plane.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, do that one really quick. And then when we got back, this is a long one. We were going to trifecta and Kristen was going to drive there, and we were both going to drive separate so that I could go to the grocery store and pick up a couple things, and she was going to do the same. She gets in her car, she goes, I have a flat tire. And I was like, I'll come scoop you up.
So actually right after we finish filming this podcast, we're going to go drop my car off. But anyway, we're sitting on our plane coming back, and this guy in front of us is just zonked. And
I shouldn't have pointed it out to you, but I was getting scared.
As soon as you pointed out to me, it was like pit in my stomach. I was like, is this guy dead in front of us?
His partner was shaking him, like moving him,
like
his
yanked
legs,
yanked his earbuds out, and just not like, he was literally just like this the entire, like, didn't budge.
And then after an hour, he went from this position to this. And Kristen goes, he moved. He's alive.
Well, I was like I think I was typing the blog on my computer, and all of a sudden I looked up and he was in a different position. I was like, Taryn, did he move? It's like, did he move? But I was like, I was like, Taryn, do we alert the flight attendant? Like, this man we think he's dead.
I did. I thought he was dead. And then I was like, what am I going to do?
I was like texting Trey. I was like, the guy in front of us, I think he hasn't moved in like an hour, and his partner has been jolting him.
Shaking him. Anyway,
but like,
he was alive.
Pit in my stomach. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. But we made it back. We made it. We made it home.
It honestly felt like an international travel day. We were gone for 2 days. Yeah. Like, we left Friday morning. We came back Monday morning.
Just wild. So hopefully our trip to Stad in a couple days can be a little smooth?
More dense?
More dense. Oh my gosh, just a crazy trip, but hey.
But it was fun playing AVP League outside.
Yeah, I agree. It did help that we won both. It's always more fun. So we're still undefeated. We're halfway through the league. Nice. Our guys, they're going to get a win. That is something people did ask. It is to get to AVP championships.
Which is Labor Day in Chicago.
Yes. You're not connected with your men's team.
They changed that from last year.
Yes, that is different. So just
So
to
it's
clarify
it's not just 4 teams. It's the top 6 men's, top 6 women's, and it does not have to be from the same city. The way that they are connected is there's a bonus, like a monetary bonus for the teams that men's and women's are the top.
Yes.
I think.
Yes. Correct. But yeah, we're halfway through the league. We're about midway through our overall season. But yeah, we're going back to the Mikasa in Stad, a little elevation. We'll see if I get altitude sickness again. And then our last little announcement is that our slunk suits
I was like, what?
are coming out in August. We will be fully wearing them in MBO, so you'll be able to see them very, very soon. You'll be able to buy them. You can match us. Even guys, you can wear the shorts. We are a huge fan of them. We actually just did a photo shoot with them. It was so incredibly hot, but
I
we
was
made it through.
dripping sweat in that photo shoot. And it was, 9 a.m.? 10
Yeah,
a.m.?
it was
It was
9,
8 a.m.
Oh, yep.
8 a.m. And we get to our, like, you set up different shots. We were in the second one, and from here to here was just straight sweat. So
Yeah.
if that's what it looks like, that's actually what it was.
Yeah. But we're super excited about it. Again, we think they're going to be really cute. We hope you guys like them when you see them. We hope you like the new merch. I think.
Hope you enjoyed our travel travesties.
It was just hilarious. But that's all we got for this episode.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Drink your coffee.
Cheers. We out.